Hi, I'm Cathy Swan. I recently retired from a 36-year career in education, 30 of which I spent in the New Canaan Public Schools in New Canaan, Connecticut, where I taught French and Spanish. And starting in 2002, I was the technology integration teacher there. During that time, I became a Google certified teacher, a program that is open to everyone globally. There are Google certified teacher trainings, Google Teacher Academy trainings around the world. You just have to go to Google Teacher Academy online and look for the next available training and apply. Google Apps for Education is a cloud-based domain that features tools and applications that create a 21st century blended learning environment that lets users stay connected all the time, anywhere. 24/7, 365. There are 20 million educators and students in Google Apps for Education. More than 70 of our top 100 universities in the United States are already on Google Apps for Education, and that includes 7 of our 8 Ivy Leagues. So let's just take a look at how that works. Google Apps for Education is free. I think that's really the biggest selling point for me. My school district was able to pay for things. However, the more we got for free, the more we had left to buy other stuff. So it's free. You pay to host your domain. You can do that for $10 a year. You name your own domain, you administer it, you control it. You always have a Google contact person that can help you. There's no hardware to buy, no software to buy. There's no local servers needed. It's fast and reliable. Google servers offer tremendous redundancy. The spam filters protect the mail. There are no advertisements in an educational domain. Privacy and security are essential. And the domain user's data is always the domain user's property. So there are no property issues. Google Apps for Education can be wide open, or it can be restricted. It's completely controlled by the domain administrator. The advantage is that the administrator can split grade levels into small groups with different permissions. So elementary school kids can use it in a different way than high school kids. And the district or school can select the apps that can be viewed. They can add or delete accounts, and individual users, including students in first grade, can initiate new documents, new websites, new blogs, and access other apps independently. So Google Apps is always there, 24/7, 365, accessible on any device that has the internet, and Google guarantees 99.9% uptime. So that's what's in it for administrators. But what's in it for teachers and kids? Well, Google Apps for Education offers an opportunity for blended learning. It offers kids and teachers the option to collaborate with peers in their own domain, with peers and experts around the world. It offers publishing opportunities both in writing and in video. And it's, in general, a personal learning environment plus a personal learning community all rolled into one. Google Apps for Education offers an ever-expanding set of educational tools and applications that let kids learn the way they like to learn. That is to say, that it lets kids collaborate, communicate, create, think critically, reflect, innovate, engage in inquiry, publish and present, and as you're using a Google Apps for Education domain, because it can be wide open to the world, it offers educators the chance to talk about cyber safety and ethical use. So let's take a closer look at the domain. When you bring in the original domain, it consists of Google Drive. Google Drive allows you to create all kinds of documents, text documents, spreadsheets, forms, drawings, slide presentations, and then there's a button that says Add More, and you can go out into the marketplace and bring other things in. We'll talk about that later. It also gives you Gmail, calendar, and websites. There's also a button that says More. The More menu is completely customizable for your district. It can include things like YouTube, Google Books, Google Maps, Google Earth, Lucid Chart, Brain Pop, Google Talk, Google Hangouts, Google Plus, Digication, ePortfolios. I could go on. I could sit here for the next half hour and just go through the whole list of apps that are available with one single logon when your school or district takes advantage of a Google Apps for Education domain. So let's start with Gmail. Your Gmail address is the key to your domain. With that address, you can easily contact any member of your domain, students, faculty, staff. And the domain auto-generates the names of all users. So you never really have to type a full name. The great thing is that teachers and kids can create contact lists, name them, and those will auto-populate as well. And your administrator can create customized distribution lists. So if I type in WL department, just WL actually, a automated list of the world language teachers at our high school will pop up, and so forth. A lot of districts, a lot of K-12 districts don't want elementary school kids to have email. And the good news is that although your Gmail address is the key to the whole domain, the Gmail itself can be turned off so that a first grader can know that his Gmail address is george.jones at whatever the domain is, and he can use that to create documents, to share documents, to access documents, to look at websites and create websites. But if he clicks on Gmail, there's nothing there because his Gmail is turned off. And it will be turned on as he ages into the next group who has permission to have that Gmail. Google Calendars is a huge gift to educators. You can create as many calendars as you want. You can share the calendars. We shared calendars for lab schedules. Teachers were able to log on and sign up for a lab or sign up for a set of iPods or iPads or whatever. Project calendars are often embedded into teachers' websites. And we learned how to import CSV files to overlay school-specific schedules. We had this crazy 8-day rotating schedule at our high school. And so we were able to create a CSV file and import that into our calendar so that we could see each period of the day. Google Calendars offer layered view. So I can turn on my partner at school, my partner's calendar, to see what he was teaching that period, the librarian's calendar. So the layered views allowed me to customize my view of calendars. Of course, you can send invitations from Google Calendar, and assignments can be embedded right into the calendar so that students who are looking at a teacher's webpage, which has an embedded Google Calendar, can click right on the assignment on today's date and get the paper that they need or the assignment that they need. The entire calendar can be embedded into a Google site or any website or a Moodle course, for example. So Google Drive lets you create, share, and collaborate on all kinds of documents. And that's the other part of Google Apps for Education. So if we look at Google Docs, anyone can create a document. As a matter of fact, our students, as they walk down the hall, you'll hear them say, I'm a little confused by the math that we did in class today. Can we create a Google Doc tonight and we can all work on it together? When we first brought in Google Apps, the teachers were a little nervous that meant the kids were cheating because they were all doing their work in the same document. But in fact, we learned that they were helping each other and learning more and able to come to class the next day more prepared. So documents that are originated by anyone can be shared with anyone in or out of the domain for collaborative writing, for research. The owners can decide if they're sharing with people who are going to be able to edit, to view only, or to add comments. And simultaneous users can edit the document in one class at the same time. They can add text, images, hyperlinks, video, and they can create a threaded discussion by inserting comments which run down the right-hand side of the document. So this document unlike the Word document that we used to use, can be accessed anytime, anywhere, from any computer with internet access. The kids no longer need flash drives. They don't have to attach something that they're working on at home to an email to get it to school. So it's a really good thing. You can insert drawings, links, images, tables, and charts. Revision history lets anyone, including the teacher, see who contributed what, on what date, and how much time they spent. And if you really want to, you can download a Google document as a Word document or as a PDF file. Collaborators can be invited from, again, all around the world, or you can publish and share it publicly. Our faculty really loves Google Docs for lots of different reasons. Our English teachers have started collecting writing assignments in Google Docs so that they can correct it by adding comments to it. We have run professional development with all kinds of Google Docs. We have organized testing. We have done curriculum writing. So there's lots and lots of different ways to use these documents. Google Drive also offers Google presentations, which are somewhat like PowerPoint slide presentations. It allows you to teach public speaking, graphic design, and visual literacy all at the same time. Kids are able to collaborate on one set of slides. They can be edited by numerous users at once. They can share them, send them, or publish them to make them public. And again, these can be inserted or embedded into a website. You can download them as PowerPoint, PDF, or text files. And a big, big advantage is that we no longer have kids coming to school saying, well, I made it on my Mac. I don't know why the pictures aren't showing up on the computers at school, the PCs at school. I swear to you I had all the pictures. And now it's just sitting in the cloud, and they just come in and click on it, and there it is. Google offers spreadsheets, and the spreadsheets are fabulous for gathering collaborative data. Students learn to enter data, sort it, and analyze it. They learn to produce graphs and charts. Our science teachers really like this because they can create longevity studies. They don't just have 1 year's worth of data, but next year the students can add to those data charts and compare and contrast and watch the change over time, which makes the results much more viable. There are dynamic cells and gadgets that pull live data, and you can also ask a Google spreadsheet to self-calculate, which is a great thing. You can have up to 50 concurrent editors, and at the end you can, if you want to, download to an Excel file or a PDF. You can also embed these into a Google website. Google Forms, one of my favorites, can be used for surveys, quick assessments, registrations, polls, you name it. If you can think of something that can go into a survey kind of format, you can use it. Recently, I worked with a district where we're using Google Forms to create rubrics, and the rubrics self-grade so that the teacher can submit a form for each student, and when the teacher accesses the data that he or she has entered from the rubric into the form, the data will already have been processed and the total will be there for the teacher. So Google offers an automatically generated summary of responses, especially easy for teachers to gather data for those who are writing their student learning outcomes, the SLOs. They can mail a survey, they can mail a form, share it with a link, they can embed it into a website, and they can collect data on mobile devices. Within the domain, respondents' names can be automatically generated. So if we ask a student to just put a URL into a form of the video that they just created, they don't have to enter their name because we can tell the form to just take the name of the person that is submitting the form. You can, of course, make the form anonymous, in which case that won't happen. And you can turn the form off, stop gathering data with one click. Google Sites allows users to pull all of the different docs together into one place. I think the best part about Google Sites is that you don't need a webmaster or a web manager to use it. Any student at any grade level, any teacher, any organization, club, the parent organizations, the teams. They can all initiate their own website and pull it together and publish. So they can create, they can collaborate, they can share sites. We have our students publish research-based work, project-based work, original writing, videos, images, artwork, and it's very easy to embed any of the Google Docs that you have or any of the videos that you have with just a few little clicks. You can even elementary school students can do this. That's how easy it is. We actually begin building websites with our students in 4th grade. So here are just a few quick examples. Student teams can build websites that are linked to the teacher's project homepage. So for example, our World Interactions website was built by 175 students and 5 teachers. And the student teams were drawn from different teachers in different classrooms at different time periods, so they never saw each other face to face. This replicates real-world teams that have members from around the world. I work with the Center for Global Studies, where their teams are here in the United States and in Egypt, or here in the United States and in China, or here and in Japan. So we're teaching our kids through Google Apps for Education how to collaborate and work globally. So websites allow students to publish, and then the big decision is, do we publish it for the world to see, or do we keep it private and just publish it for ourselves? And this gives the school an opportunity to talk to kids about privacy concerns, about copyright, about safety and responsible publishing. Google Apps for Education gives every student and every member of the domain a YouTube channel, and we use those extensively. Remember when your Spanish teacher told you to go home and film a little dialogue? Well, now the little dialogue is on YouTube, and the students can mark them as public, if they choose and it's okay with their parents, or private, which doesn't make much sense because then you have to have specific permission to see each video, or unlisted. We ask our students to make that choice, and we recommend to them that they be unlisted. In that way, we can just have the URL of the video and click on the URL and see it, but you wouldn't be able to go into Google and search for it. Like presentation slides, Google presentation slides, YouTube has no platform issues. So once it's uploaded, you're going to watch it at school the next day. There's no issue about how you made it or what format it was filmed in, and it won't necessarily show and why isn't it playing. So that's the tip of the iceberg for Google Apps for Education. There are far too many apps to discuss here and now. They're all available in the Google Apps Marketplace. And if you're not a Google Apps for Education school now, you can get started by typing Google Apps for Education into a browser, click on the blue Get Started button, and Google will walk you right through the setup. So it's quick, easy, and free. Get started today. Your teachers and students will appreciate the opportunity to collaborate, communicate, create, and innovate using Google Apps for Education.